It's crazy how life works sometimes. You look at two people who once smiled together, dreamed together, and promised forever, and you think, they made it. They're solid. But sometimes life has other plans. And when those plans fall apart in front of the world, it's almost impossible to look away. Today, we are diving deep into what many viewers are calling one of the most powerful flips in reality TV relationship history: the rise of Shari, the downfall of Martell Holt, and the question everybody is asking: has Melody's big win finally spelled his doom? Stay with me till the very end of this video, because this story gets intense, and trust me, you don't want to miss a single moment. From the very beginning on Love and Marriage Huntsville, Melody and Martell were that couple everyone talked about. They had the looks, the business moves, the charisma, and the chemistry. Viewers saw them smiling, building businesses, buying properties, and showing the world what teamwork looked like. People admired them. People rooted for them. They were goals. But behind every perfect picture, sometimes there is a secret storm. And once that storm breaks loose, nothing is ever the same again. The cracks started small, a rumor here, a comment there. But as time passed, those quiet whispers became loud conversations online and on the show. The world found out about infidelity, arguments, hurt, and betrayal. And suddenly, this couple that looked unstoppable was fighting battles no one could have predicted. Martell Holt, who always seemed confident and always carried himself like he could talk his way out of anything, was being looked at differently. Melody, the strong wife who tried to stand by her family, suddenly looked tired, frustrated, and broken. It wasn't just a marriage falling apart, it was a life falling apart. And it was happening in front of millions. You know, we all say we don't like drama, but when you see a woman trying her best to hold herself together while the world watches, something inside of you connects. And viewers felt that connection with Melody. She tried to fight for her family. She tried to stay strong. But sometimes strength isn't quiet. Sometimes strength is walking away. And that's exactly what Melody did. She left. She packed up her pride, her pain, her 4 beautiful children, and she walked out of a marriage she once believed in. And that moment changed everything. After the divorce, things didn't suddenly get easier. Oh no, things got even more messy. Co-parenting battles, court hearings, public arguments, emotional social media posts. It felt like every week there was a new chapter, and every chapter was heavier than the last. Martell Holt still had fans defending him. Some viewers wanted to believe he was misunderstood. And for a long time, Martell seemed convinced that he still controlled the story. But the thing about truth is, it always shows up, no matter how long it takes. Then came that turning point, that day in court. Everyone expected chaos. Everyone expected another round of loud conflict, but Melody walked in different, calm, composed, even peaceful. She didn't look angry, she didn't look bitter, she didn't look like a woman trying to prove anything. She looked like a woman who already knew the truth and wasn't afraid anymore. She showed her receipts, her documentation, her timeline. There was no yelling, no dragging, just quiet truth. And sometimes quiet truth is louder than any scream. Witnesses said the energy in that courtroom shifted. Melody was steady. Martell looked thrown off. The usual confidence wasn't there. And when the session ended, there was no celebration from Melody. She didn't run to social media. She didn't gloat. She simply lifted her head, walked out, and let the moment speak for itself. Fans say that was the moment everything changed. That was the moment Martell lost control of the narrative. And that was the moment Melody's glow became undeniable. After that, support for Melody poured in everywhere. Women who had gone through heartbreak reached out. Fans cheered her on. People called her an inspiration, someone who survived pain with grace. Even cast members on Love and Marriage Huntsville could feel the shift. Kimmy Scott, who always tries to be fair, showed compassion. Maurice Scott acknowledged Melody's strength. Stormy Steele offered encouragement. Tiffany Whitlow voiced support. Destiny Payton, once Melody's friend who later grew distant, even had fans calling for reflection. And while everyone had their opinions, one thing was clear: Melody stood tall. And while Melody rose higher, rumors started swirling around Martell. Whispers about business problems, emotional stress, and a lifestyle that might not have been as solid as it looked. The relationship with Ariane Curry, the situation that played a major role in the downfall, became part of the ongoing drama too. Social media tension, back and forth comments, emotional moments, and a complicated connection that seemed to bring more stress than peace. Viewers saw it all, and many shook their heads saying, this didn't have to happen. Martell still tried to push his side of the story. He continued to speak out. He continued to challenge Melody. But every time he tried to defend himself, it only fueled more debate. People weren't seeing the confident businessman anymore. They were seeing someone trying to hold on to a past version of himself. And instead of moving forward, it felt like he was going in circles. Even Martell Scott and Letitia Scott, who had their own dramatic moments with the Holts, sometimes appeared shocked at how far things had gone. Miss Wanda, always ready to jump into drama, even had moments where she looked like she didn't know what to say next. Then came the moment that really shook viewers: leaked messages, online rants, emotional reactions. Fans wondered if this was about truth or revenge. And suddenly the public started asking, is Martell fighting to clear his name, or is he fighting because he can't let go of control? And while the internet argued, Melody just stayed focused, working, building, parenting, glowing, resting, rising again and again. And you could feel Martell getting frustrated. You could see him trying harder and harder to get attention, to regain control, to remind people of who he used to be. But sometimes the world doesn't care who you used to be. They care who you are now. And right now, fans see Melody as a woman who overcame heartbreak, betrayal, and public embarrassment and still stood strong. She launched new businesses, she toured, she performed, she focused on her kids, she smiled again. And that smile hit different because it came from peace, not performance. And that's when rumors started saying Martell was struggling to rebuild, struggling to stay relevant, struggling to understand how he lost everything he once controlled. Nobody can confirm if every rumor is true, and we don't speak on anything that isn't verified. But the energy changed. Business partnerships allegedly faded. Opportunities slowed down. And instead of the flashy lifestyle, people started noticing stress in his tone, worry in his walk, and tension in his interviews. And you know what the internet said? This is what happens when you don't appreciate what you have. Life has a way of teaching lessons, sometimes gently, sometimes painfully. Then came reports of emotional moments with Ariane, arguments, breakdowns, confusion, and once again, social media exploded with opinions. Some blamed Martell, some blamed Ariane, some blamed the show. But most people said the same thing. This is what happens when you hurt someone who only wanted to build with you. Pain has a way of coming full circle. Meanwhile, Melody kept winning, quietly, powerfully, beautifully. She didn't need drama. She didn't need noise. She didn't need revenge. Her revenge was success. Her revenge was healing. Her revenge was peace. And viewers could feel it. Her glow wasn't just outer beauty, it was inner strength. And anyone who has ever healed from heartbreak knows that glow hits different. Now, rumors say Martell tried one last move, a big interview, a dramatic tell-all, a moment to take back the spotlight. But it didn't land the way he wanted. Instead of strength, viewers saw pain. Instead of power, they saw confusion. Instead of clarity, they saw someone lost in the battle of pride versus acceptance. And the internet reacted the only way the internet knows how: memes, comments, jokes, shock, disappointment. It wasn't a win. It wasn't even a fight. It felt like the final moment of someone who held on too long. And through it all, Melody did what she always does. She kept going. She kept rising. She kept glowing. And now people look at her and say, she's unstoppable. They look at Martell and say, he lost more than a marriage. He lost a future he didn't protect. And now the question stands. Has Melody's big win finally spelled his doom? Is this the point where he realizes he can't undo what's done? Is this the moment his story shifts from the star of the show to the warning of what pride can cost? But here's the truth. Everybody falls. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody learns. And maybe one day Martell will rebuild. Maybe one day he will reflect, grow, heal, and rise again. Nobody knows. Life is unpredictable. But right now, the world sees Melody shining like never before, and they see Martell trying to hold on to a past that's slipping through his fingers. And when a woman finds her peace, nothing and no one can stop her. So if you're watching this, let this story be a reminder. Never underestimate the power of a woman who rebuilds herself. Never take someone's loyalty for granted. Never let ego destroy what love built. Melody didn't just win in court, she won in life. She didn't just silence the noise, she silenced her doubts. And in doing that, she wrote a new story,